Good morning. This is Faith in Our Hometown, brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin. And now, here's your host, Father Jay Friedel.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for another wonderful morning in Faith in Our Hometown. I hope your weekend's been wonderful and enjoyable so far, and we're glad that you're choosing to spend this part of Sunday morning with us. We often talk about the greater Joplin area, and today I'm really happy that we're expanding that just a little bit because I finally gotten some guests from over on the Kansas side of the border, which is wonderful. My guests this morning are going to be from the Lord's Diner, Laura Ramsey and Joe Dellasega, who are here to talk about some of the work that's going on in Pittsburgh at the Lord's Diner. So it is great to have some of our eastern part of the viewing audience out there to come together with us on a Sunday morning, and we're glad that they've made the trip. We're going to be right back after this Mercy Minute, but we just hope that you'll stay tuned and stick with us as we prepare to talk about a little bit of assistance over in the Pittsburgh, Kansas area at the Lord's Diner. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this Mercy Minute.
I have arthritis in my knees, and it was just excruciating. I wish I would have done something sooner. I found myself not able to go up and down stairs, which is bad because we realized we were going to have to sell our house. We decided just to take the worst one first, and we did. I was back to work in 6 weeks. 6 months later, I had surgery on the second one, and I'm back to work in 5 weeks. And I was a little scared, a little apprehensive, even though I knew everything that was going to happen. But I was just impressed. Life is short, and I waited. I think I waited too long.
Well, again, thanks for joining us this Sunday morning. Again, my guests this morning, Joe Dellasega and Laura Ramsey, both from the Lord's Diner over in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Thank you for making the trip over to record. I know that's a little bit of an effort, but I really love the fact that we got some folks from our larger viewing area. So any other stories, any other folks or friends in Pittsburgh that are doing good work, we just want to keep the whole viewing area kind of connected and together. It's a good thing. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us. It's a real honor to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves and tell us a little bit about the Lord's Diner. What's going on over there?
Go ahead, Laura. Let's start that again.
Yeah, no, just keep going. Just tell the Lord's Diner. Go ahead. I know everybody gets nervous when they get on TV, but don't worry, these people out here are friendly.
No, Father, I'm Joe Dellasega. My honor to chair the advisory council for the Lord's Diner. Been in Pittsburgh most of my life, and it just was blessed to be able to be part of the process 3-4 years before it even the Lord's Diner was born. So got to go through that process and all the pains to get there, but just having a great experience. And
good. Well, we'll talk about how it got started. Laura, how did you get tied up at the Lord's Diner, and how did you get in the area?
I started from the beginning. I started out as a kitchen manager, and now I'm the site director.
Okay.
So,
well,
great. Since the beginning.
All right, so you say, it was a process. Yeah. So how long you guys have been in operation?
Okay, we've been open since January of 2017, so a little over a year.
Great, wonderful, great. So how did this thing come to birth? How did this whole thing get started?
So I had the opportunity to be on the Catholic Charities Board in Wichita, and our bishop had said, what can we do in the more rural area of the diocese to take care of the poor? And so when we started doing our homework, we found out the huge problem we were having with hunger. 17% of our community suffers from food deprivation.
Wow.
So the worry that they're going to get adequate food.
Yeah, so not enough to eat on their table that day.
No, and it was just daunting to kind of think about that in our community. Then we went through the steps of, well, do we start something from scratch? Only to be, well, lo and behold, that the diocese had the Lord's Diner in Wichita, where they were already serving thousands of meals. And so we approached the bishop and said, what would it look like if we could, in effect, franchise the Lord's Diner and bring it to Pittsburgh?
Well, I'm just going to say a little bit for our viewers. Again, Catholic Church is kind of like one of those things that every place has a territory, and that territory we call a diocese. And so when we have a diocese or diocese, each boss in each one of those areas, or each spiritual leader in all those areas, is a bishop. And so I have to laugh because our bishop here in Southern Missouri is one of my classmates, Bishop Ed Rice, and one of my other classmates is your bishop, Bishop Carl Kemme. And so those are two of my classmates. We promised not to tell stories about each other ever in public because it's kind.
Yeah, they're much older than you, though.
Oh, that's what I think. That's what I think. But at any rate, that's the territory. And so you're talking about the Catholic Church in Wichita. So Pittsburgh belongs to the Diocese of Wichita. So that's why, for example, the folks in Pittsburgh would lean on the other Catholic leadership from Wichita in order to help to do that. So they had this Lord's Diner concept going in Wichita, and you just said, hey, why reinvent the wheel? Let's bring the concept to Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
Which is great.
Exactly. And when we approached them, they said, do you have enough volunteers? Do you have enough, will you be able to raise adequate funds? Do you have the need? And so we took off on about a year process of doing our homework, doing our research, engaging with all the nonprofits and people that serve the poor in our community, and put together a statement that was compelling enough for them to take a shot at working with us.
So Laura, tell us, what do you guys actually do at the Lord's Diner? So what's your main purpose? What do you exist for?
Our main purpose is to feed a meal with dignity and respect to anyone that walks through our doors.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so you started out as a kitchen manager, so you were involved in that from the very beginning.
Right.
Okay,
right.
Feeding those meals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now I trust. I mean, like most organizations, I doubt there are that many paid people around, but it's mostly volunteers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The majority is. There's 2 full-time paid staff and 3 part-time paid staff. The rest is up to volunteers.
Wonderful. So how many people go through your place in a day?
Our guests that come to see us, around 120, 150.
Wow, so that's each day. Yeah. Well, you guys do because I mean, we of course run a similar thing out of St. Peter's here in Joplin. Our own little, we call ours now we don't do it every day. We do 3 times a week, and then of course our neighbors over at Salvation Army take care of some of those other days and do some of those other things too. So we got a couple groups feeding during the week. Other shelters that do more things also do their own meals and everything. But our ministry in Salvation Army is similar to yours, just kind of feeding whoever's hungry can come for lunch, and that's kind of our philosophy.
Yeah, it is. And just them knowing that you're there every night. There was a gentleman in Wichita, and every night before he would leave, he would come up to was our executive director out there, Jan Haberly, and say, "You're going to be here tomorrow, aren't you?" I mean, he was that worried that he was going to be able to have a meal, and so it's kind of amazing. Laura had mentioned the volunteers. We have over 850 people that serve once a month. So it's 22 people show up between that high 20s, low 20s, to serve, and it's once a month. So the number of volunteers has just been overwhelming.
So you serve a lunch every day? Do you serve lunch and dinner?
Just dinner.
Just dinner. So you're in the evening?
In the evening meal.
Okay, all right, we just do lunchtime, around here.
Yeah.
So you do dinner every day. Kind of what hours of operation?
5:30 to 7:30.
So 2 hours dinner, and a volunteer staff that you bring in all the time, in the 20s of folks. And I guess they're coming from different churches, obviously not just Catholic churches, because, but different church communities, different groups, service groups.
What's really, really neat about this, and Bishop Gerber, who started this way back in 2002, I think, 2003.
The one in Wichita, right?
Yes, But when he started it, the key was to be non-denominational. So if you go in, you can't. It's for anybody. And what's been great for our community is it allows you have churches working together, you have businesses working with churches, you have organizations working. So it's really been a melting pot. And the experience was, we couldn't have any other experience where you had people actually experiencing the poor, that felt comfortable being with the poor. And so it's increased this awareness of who these people are, and it's put a face. We see them out there.
Well, you know their names.
Exactly.
Yeah, some of your guests you just know, and they come, some will come only on Mondays, and maybe that's the day they're off or whatever. But some come every time we open the doors, and that's the reality just for them. This is how they stretch to make everything else work in their lives sometimes. So you said 17% folks experience some kind of difficulty with food for their tables over in that area.
Exactly.
Wow. And again, I really haven't asked for a while what some of those numbers look like here in the Joplin area. But I mean, I think sometimes everybody thinks that that it's just in the the city of Pittsburgh or the city of Joplin. But I mean, these issues also get out into the rural community with some of those things.
Yeah. The poverty looks different in Wichita than it looks in Pittsburgh, maybe than it looks in Joplin.
Right.
It's very unique. And one thing that our diocese was really good is they said, we don't know what poverty looks like in the rural areas, so help us understand it. And I mean, the goal isn't just to stop Pittsburgh. What would it look like if out of Pittsburgh we could begin sending food to even communities outside of Pittsburgh? So there's a master plan that maybe we could even expand the ministry and touch more people. But this rural element is an interesting thing.
So you've got all these different groups, and again, not just Catholics, but all kinds of folks. And again, sometimes there's a misconception out there that, like, for example, I mean, somebody once said, well, I'd come over to your place for a meal once in a while, but I'm not Catholic. And I'm like, you just have to be hungry to come to come. You don't have to be Catholic. We serve. We don't even ask. The only thing we ask when people come in the door is we say, hi, how are you? Can we have your name, please? And we just write the name down. And that's all we do. I don't know what you guys do in terms of some of that, but that's all we do is just solve our guests. We just do it, and that's just so that we can have a count each day of who comes to eat lunch with us. So if I were in the Pittsburgh area or somewhere even in a surrounding area of Pittsburgh, and I wanted to come volunteer with a group or something, how would I put that together?
If you just phone us, you can ask for Lisa Russell. She's our volunteer coordinator.
Okay.
So she takes care of all of the
Lisa
scheduling.
Russell. And that number, well, I've got it here, is 262-240-4134. Okay, 262-240-4134. And you can also, if you wanted to email it, it'd be thelordsdiner.org.
Correct.
Okay, thelordsdiner.org would be the web address. www.thelordsdiner.org. Yep. And so Lisa is your volunteer coordinator, so she'd be able to put that together. Now, do you have openings for like whole churches, or what if I'm not connected to a church? I just am an individual.
That's a great question. We have groups, and so there's a lot of times if an individual will call, Lisa will get them on a team. And usually she tries to align them with the team that they think they would, maybe connect the best with. What's really cool about that is the relationships that are forged with different groups. We've had churches that have picked up new members because they come and they work with folks, and then they become friends and start going out afterwards. The next thing you know, they're following them to church. So it's a really unique way to connect and evangelize. So many times people thought when we started Father that this was about the food. And what we're getting so much of is what they had in Wichita, and it's not just about the food, it's about the relationships.
Right.
These people come, and I'm sure you all experience this at all your great groups that you have over here going, but people are hungry, but they're hungry for relationship, and they're hungry for identity. And so the volunteers hand out food, but it's the love that's given back and forth, and I think that's what you ought to see these guys, Laura and Lisa and the staff. I mean, it's a mission. They don't have a job, and going in and what they do is incredible to watch. But it's about people, and so it's really been a great experience.
Well, we're talking this morning about some work that's going on over in Pittsburgh at the Lord's Diner. My guests this morning are Joe Dellasega and Laura Ramsey, both from the Lord's Diner. Joe's on the board there, and Laura is the site director, so she's the one that gets to keep the place operating from day to day. So we're going to be right back. We're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that nature of what that ministry does for the people sometimes who do it. So we're going to be right back. Don't go away. Stick with us.
You're watching Faith in Our Hometown on KSN TV, brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin.
Well, thanks for joining us again this morning on a Sunday morning. I was just figuring out, everybody's been whispering in my ear that I have messed up the phone number for the Lord's Diner. So let's do that again real quick before I get in trouble. All right, so the phone number, and you should have told me that while I was saying it. But at any rate, 620-240-4134. 620-240-4134 is the number for the Lord's Diner. So I'm glad we got that straightened out, because otherwise everybody would be calling, and then everybody would be calling us and saying, what's the heck, you gave me this wrong phone number. So we were talking a little before the break about that it's in the relationships, and that's really that's how we connect, human being to human being, and again, it's just a matter of it's not just a matter of giving out food or doing whatever, but it's actually just learning to know the people in our community and in our neighborhood. That's why we talk about feeding our neighbors one meal at a time. Okay, but again, it's about the neighbors. It's not about the food. So we're I assume with all the other partnerships you've got in the community that that you've got people who do like we do. That they'll you've got farmers who'll say, hey, we butchered. We got we got beef that we can bring you.
Yes.
So I assume that you take donations.
Yes.
So
this is up Laura's eye. Tell them about the people.
So tell us a little bit about your supply chain, if you will.
It's a daily event for us to have people walk through the doors with just groceries. Bring in. We have a wish list, a board that we write the things we'd like to receive, and so people come in, they take pictures, they share it, and we'll come in and just bring all the items, or like pick 2 or 3 items. And bring those in. Just go out and purchase them and bring them.
Father,
and you do about 150 people a day.
And actually, you were hitting 220, 250 when the weather's nice. So
it'll increase in the summer.
Well, we find out too that sometimes we've got families that'll come during the summer, and of course their kids, while they're in school, they're getting they're getting some supplemental food there at school. And one of the things that that some of our moms will tell us during the summer, we're just so glad you're here because our kids eat better, because we're bringing them here, and then they can save some of the money that they didn't spend on lunch to supplement some of what they're doing for dinner and do those things. And again, this is for families that, we don't do, we just feed whoever comes to the door. But what our hope and our dream, of course, is that we're helping everybody stretch what they need to stretch, but nobody will ever have to go hungry. If they can just walk in and have a meal, they don't have to explain anything. Some people are very proud and they're just like, I don't want to, but they know they can still come and eat.
Father, you said that about people being proud. We have a donation box on the door. It's subtle, right? Kind of tucked off to the side. But that donation box in Wichita, it's a phenomenon. They don't get much money. It's definitely a homeless element there. But in our community, where you may have that working class person that comes in with their spouse and their kids. But anyway, the amount of money that gets dropped, $1, $2, whatever, adds up, and it's amazing how many people actually pay for the cost of their meal. The other element,
we always allow it. Again, we don't like yourself. We don't request it, but we always just say, if anybody'd like to make a donation, we've always got the box handy. We had a woman that was there one evening, and elderly woman, and I was talking to her, and I could tell, financially, I didn't sense that maybe she was hurting as bad financially. So I went over and talked to her, and she was there because she needed company. Her husband had been at home and was dying, and she just needed to get out. So she was there and talking to people at the table. We engaged her, and as she left, she went over and made a donation. I don't know what she made, but she said for her it was just to be able to come and have some fellowship and some people to be around. Well, and that's what we tell all of our parishioners, and we tell anybody, if anybody just wants to come and wants a place to be with somebody else at noontime, come on by, have a meal. Because again, we don't ask what anybody makes, we don't ask anything else. We just, and again, we are similar to yours, folks that just bring things in, or we're very blessed to have some local merchants who, rather than throw their leftovers away, they box them up and allow us to come and pick them up, and we repurpose all that and serve it, and and all that kind of thing. So all the food's handled well. We do inspections and all that stuff. I mean, I'm sure the health department comes and inspects you guys too. And that happens here for us too. But so the food's handled well, and everything is done in a way that we're certainly taking care of the health needs of everybody. And I'm sure you try to the whole business about balanced meals and things like that, and nutrition and all that kind of good stuff.
Father, we just had a really neat thing happen. We have an entrepreneur in town that is very into health and wellness. Very, very accomplished man, done very well, he volunteers, he comes and gives his time, he gives financially, and he reached out to us the other day, and he said what he would like to do is for every person that leaves to be able to take home every night a piece of fresh fruit. And so we're going to build that, so he actually said, I'd like to do that for a year. So there will be a stand there as people were really excited to get it started. And we do that when people bring in, like you mentioned, bringing by their goods, and you've talked about how much people really enjoy that.
They do.
Yeah.
They like to pick it up on their way out.
But
it's neat to have somebody who's just said, look, I want to provide fresh fruit for everybody. That comes for lunch for a year. I think that's great.
I'm sure you've experienced this in all those ministries you're doing over here, but with the Lord's Diner, you have the people who can give financially, the people who can give of their time, but even of giving of your time, some people feel very comfortable being out with people. Some people are a little bit more introverts. And so, for them to do the dishes, or for them to come at 2 o'clock and prepare the meal, that maybe they don't actually even spend any time with the poor.
Sure.
And what's kind of cool about the dynamic is there's a place for everybody, both financially and just kind of how comfortable they feel.
That's exactly the way I think any service organization, and we got so many of them in all communities, that's the way. We can find, if anybody wants to volunteer, if anybody wants to help, we can find a way for them to help. We can find a way for them to connect. I mean, it's, and again, I think you're very right. I know some person who she basically washes dishes. Well, some of the people who are out there working on the line don't want to wash dishes. They want to talk to everybody. And so they're out there talking to everybody. And the other people in the back going, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm good. Just bring me the dirty dishes. I'll be happy to do those. And again, we've got our we got our chief cooks and our bottle washers and our, we got them all. So So you say you've got your main staff and you got your 20 volunteers each evening. So how many? That's a large. I mean, that's actually a pretty large operation.
I'd venture to say, Father, that by the time you get done with donors and our volunteers and people that touch this, you're up to 1,000 people that are engaged in the mission.
Wow, that's amazing to me, because we've got our numbers are just much smaller. We do feed about. I probably about the same number every day, but I keep thinking when we have 22 of them, I'd be like, wow. I think I'm a little jealous of the number of folks who got volunteering over there. And I hope Terry, my director, doesn't see this, because she'll be like going, where are all those people? Where are all those people coming in there? But it is great to have. And again, I love it when folks come in from other churches and say, hey, we just heard about your ministry. We want to come in, we want to help. Because again, we're not, taking care of people is not a denomination-specific anything.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, so in terms of that in the area there, so you've got your Catholic volunteers, you've got your non-Catholic volunteers, you've got people from other churches in your business community. I assume, do you have restaurants and things like that over on the Kansas side that they're willing to help you with those kinds of things? Good.
Tell them about the nights that Pizza Hut may come, or Bamboo, or people like that.
Pizza Hut came and supplied the entire meal one evening, and it was amazing. Our guests were on their phones saying, Pizza Hut, so people, get down here, and it was awesome. In the Chinese restaurant in town called Bamboo, they donated a meal, and the same thing. It was really nice, because a lot of people maybe couldn't afford to order pizza or order Bamboo for the evening.
It's just a nice treat for somebody, just to say, I was like, I love Chinese food, And of course, you got, some of your guests will come in and they'll be like, it's just like, this was my favorite thing that my mom made. And some days, sometimes it's ham and beans. It's like, it's like, meatloaf. They're just kind of like, this is my favorite. This is what my mom always used to make, and it's always we always smile, because somebody's got a favorite somewhere.
Exactly.
Somebody's got a favorite somewhere in those menus.
We have a cool thing when you talk about restaurants. We had a person that's really committed to the diner, and they had this idea, and then Rotary picked it up because we have about 100 people. So we took it, and the idea was if the cost of food is about $365 a night, what would it look like to get 365 people to take one night to pay for the food? And $365, sometimes in fundraising, I do a lot of that, you end up, the amounts get so big that the ask gets large and you have only a few. So Rotary has taken upon ourselves to do give 365 squared, meaning $365 for a day for a year. And so we're just getting started, and we're getting some amazing results. So we'll go out and we'll work with our churches and even our restaurants and then our corporations, where we're asking them to take 12 nights, one a month. And so it's just trying to break it into a smaller pieces, so that we get a lot of broad participation, which increases the ownership, but yet not a burden, too much of a burden on a few.
Yeah,
So-
well, and I love that idea. I mean, I just love the fact that, you've got so much community involvement, some community buy-in, which is wonderful. I mean, I love it when this to me is a great model of how everybody can work together. It's not just the churches working, but it's the community working, it's the business sector working, it's all those groups together. Sure. So it sounds to me like you got a real winning combination over there in Pittsburgh. So I mean, I'm just glad that you can be here to talk about it a little bit. And again, the numbers, if everybody wants to do that, thelordsdiner.org or 620, let me get the area code right, 620-240-4134. 620-240-4134. We're here with Joe Dellasega and Laura Ramsey from the Lord's Diner, and we're going to be right back after this Mercy Minute. Don't go away. Stick with us, okay?
A new baby changes the world and each of us. The Sisters of Mercy devoted themselves to offering exceptional maternity and delivery care, training generations of nurses to do the same. Mercy continues to answer the same call, to not only care for your baby, but to cherish them too. Mercy, in every era, your life is our life's work. Learn why we serve at mercy.net/legacy. Everyone on board dreamed of a new life in America. The Sisters of Mercy had a different dream, to serve all who had need. From the first hospital Sister Frances Ward built to the world's first virtual care center, we continue to answer the same call, to bring mercy home to you. Mercy, in every era, your life is our life's work. Learn why we serve at mercy.net/legacy.
It's always good to spend time with you all on a Sunday morning, so thanks for tuning in. Again, send us story ideas, things that you know going on in your community. This morning we were blessed to have somebody from over on the Kansas side, which is wonderful because we know we broadcast over there, but we don't get to have quite as many guests come over and tape with us. So we're grateful to the folks from the Lord's Diner for coming over from Pittsburgh to spend some time with us today. One of the neatest things that I loved about this conversation is the ability for me to see how all the members of that community have come together. People of faith, people in the business community, people who just saw that there was an issue, somebody helping from across the state to help bring a model in that became successful in the Pittsburgh area. All these people working together to try to make a little bit of a dent in some of the hunger that exists in the rural area, especially surrounding Pittsburgh. It's a wonderful model of success. That's how people care about each other. That's how people in Pittsburgh have put it all together to care about each other with the Lord's Diner. So I hope we can do those things for each other and continue to look for those opportunities to serve and to talk to each other. Join us next week for Faith in Our Hometown, and God bless you. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching. Faith in Our Hometown can be seen Sunday mornings at 6:30 and 9 a.m. on KSN. Brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin.